Hey guys, my name is Carm, and I'm very excited on this January 1st morning to announce that I will be starting my very own health and skin and hair care product line called Bellurelle, launching March 1st. Stay tuned. Hey. Okay. So, how do I start this? I don't even know how I'm gonna start this. Honestly, it's about time I obeyed. It's about time I obeyed what God said. Honestly, the reason why I started this channel is not what I've been posting about. Well, honestly, it is what I've been posting about, but with a different interpretation and with a different kind of understanding. Holy Spirit, help me throughout this video. Okay, so today I'm gonna talk about basically my journey. Please don't get finessed by the bun in the profile. It's big in real life. Okay, I don't know why it looks like that. But yeah, this is a new space. I forgot to say this is my office. The wall is wood, and honestly I think it's pretty cool. I think it definitely goes with Bellurelle, you know, wood, natural. Okay, getting off topic. Let me just get back to what we're talking about. Okay, hold on, let me drink some water. I'm gonna take you guys all the way back to 2020, and as I speak, I just pray that you have ears to hear, you know, that you just get specific things and maybe hopefully apply it, and that it inspires you somehow. And I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible, but you know, if it goes, it goes. Like, if it flows, it flows. I think I'm just crying because genuinely, like, I'm just so grateful. So I started working on Bellurelle on January 2020. We are now January 2025. It's been 5 years since I started this thing. I launched it in April, but I started working on it in January of 2020. And just to see everything that's transpired over the last 5 years, it's just kind of like mind-blowing to me, but it also makes me really grateful. And I really see the hand of God in all this. And so anyways, I had went to Dominican Republic for the new year, and I just felt so good about 2020. I just thought, like, okay, 2020 is gonna be my year. I wrote on the sand, Carm's 2020, and I was just really excited about 2020, whatever was to come. Before I went on this trip, I had a vision that I would do something with what I kept doing in my hobbies, which was making products. I would get aloe vera, I would put on my face, I would mix it with turmeric, I would mix it with honey, whatever the case is, and I would just make concoctions and put it on my face. There was a specific time when I took biotin to grow my hair, but it ended up breaking out my cheeks really, really bad. So I decided to make my own concoction, which is what is glazed today, and I put on my face, and it worked. I also lived with my roommates, Beyonce and Amaka. Shout out Beyonce. She would always make these natural things herself because she had acne, and she would make her own products as well. So I got inspired from her to start doing that again and more consistently. I genuinely fell in love with nature. I fell in love with natural beauty. So I was like, okay, I really like this natural beauty thing. I am embracing my natural beauty. Let's do something about it. So I was thinking, I kind of want to do something with these products. I'm not sure what yet, but you know, kept that there. Bellurelle is a combination of the words belle and naturel, and I was thinking of nature et belle, so nature et belle, so nature and beautiful, but then I just kind of put the two words together. That idea came to mind when it was me, my best friend, my sister, and her sister and her cousin. We were all in a pickup truck on our way back to the airport in Dominican Republic, and that idea came to mind, and it just clicked. But I never told anybody. That was the biggest thing. I never told anyone that I was doing Bellurelle. No one around me knew. No one knew that I was working on this brand. And I think that's like the number one key that I want you guys to take from this. Don't tell anybody anything. Be silent. I know it's exciting when you know something's gonna work and then you want to tell everybody, but trust me, don't tell anybody anything. When we were in the pickup truck, I had reached out to my mom. I'm like, which words are better, Nature Belle or Bellurelle? I even checked and I saw Nature Belle was already a company, so I just chose Bellurelle. My mom didn't know what this was for, but I just asked her what the name should be, so she just chose Bellurelle, and I'm like, okay, bet. From that day forward, it was consistently working on this brand, figuring out products, doing research with ingredients, waking up super early in the morning, trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this, where I'm gonna get these things from, how I'm gonna make it work, what's the vision, what's the logo. Around this time, I'm working at Tim Hortons on my campus at Carleton University. I worked at the Tim Hortons, and I was a supervisor, and one of the employees, I asked him to make a logo for me, and he did this, which was the first logo of Bellurelle. If you know, you know. I took the logo, went on Fiverr, and paid $5 to make this logo come to life, and I just completely fell in love with it. I just saw it. I just knew that this brand would be amazing. And then February hit. The relationship that I was still in, but not really, I had found out that he cheated on me with one of my sister's friends, and it broke me. I found this out while I was at work, and it just tore me up. Honestly, I was so sad. I was so sad. A lot of doubt filled my head. It really took a toll on me. This took a toll on how I wanted to continue with Bellurelle. At this point, I had already created Glaze, which is one of the best sellers today, but I was still filled with so much doubt. Then March 13, 2020, I had went to church after not going to church for super long, and I was just standing at the back of the church. I was with my roommates, and Pastor Ralph pointed at me and he said, "You." And I was like, "Me?" And he's like, you will be successful in the marketplace and lead a lot of girls." Now, that moment I've never experienced in my life. I didn't even know what to do. I didn't know what to pray. To be honest, at this point, I didn't even know how to pray. I was dabbling in crystals and a bunch of other things because that's what my ex was doing. But even in my background in astrology and star signs and angel numbers and all that stuff, I was still able to understand that God is using this person to tell me this. So I should act accordingly. And so that just put a battery in my back. I just went full force with the business. I left that guy. I got curious about God and about prophecies, and suddenly the ex wasn't really interesting to me anymore. I really wanted him to leave me alone. So I would search up, why is this happening? And then I would see soul ties, and I would do soul tie prayers, and I would pray, but I didn't even know how to pray really. So I would just read off the screen whatever the pastor was saying on the screen, or whatever article I'm coming across. I would just read the prayer, the soul tie prayer, and it ended up breaking. I went full force with the brand, but I was still very lukewarm. I had an idea of God, but I was still looking at angel numbers. I was still really confused. I was in a lot of confusion, but I know that God is not the author of confusion. It was just honestly the enemy just trying to get me back to where I was. On April 10, 2020, my birthday, I launched Bellurelle, and it was a success. It blew up really fast. Dragon's Den reached out to me. I had magazines reaching out to me. All these different opportunities came to me so quickly, and I was in awe. I was getting consistent orders, made $13,000 in my first month. It was just consistently just going, and I just really honestly, I couldn't handle it. And all at the same time, the ex was still showing up. The ex was still trying to find his way. At this time, there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of distractions, a lot of things that are happening at the same time, a lot of things to slow me down. So 2 months into starting the brand, I have my products everywhere. I'm still in school, but I'm doing school from home. I was doing school from home before COVID, to be honest, because I really didn't like that place. It was around the summertime, so school was done at the moment. And I just remember this like it was yesterday. It was June 2020, and I look back now and see that that was God. But at that moment, I didn't think that it was God. I thought that it was just me. I didn't see God's hand in it and the consequences for my actions until I got saved. So let's fast forward to June 2020. I'm at home making products. The ex wants to come to my house because he's upset about something. I say no. He comes anyway. He chokes me. I don't know how to say this like smoothly. Anyways, he comes anyway. He chokes me. He puts me against the wall and chokes me, and basically says, empty all of your savings. Then he looks at my bank account, and then he's like, never mind. Just very manipulative kind of stuff. These are type of moments that I didn't realize would lead me to where I am right now. That happened. I called my friend. He came, and yeah, honestly, it was just constantly like that. A lot of my childhood was just genuinely always seeking. That moment was so tiny compared to everything that happened that year, but I remember it so vividly because that moment taught me. After Christ, that moment revealed to me, I'm literally crying because Jesus loves me so much. Like, genuinely, he loves me so much. And it's like I look back at these moments and I'm just like, wow, all I really wanted was what I have right now. So having released my previous ex, I made that prayer. So I want my next boyfriend to be my last. 2 months after my previous ex abused me, I met my new ex. He flew me out. Our first date was perfect. The day we met, everything was just perfect. Like, I can't even describe, like, it was the perfect date, the perfect day. There was no traffic. While we're in a relationship, I'm still working on Bellurelle, but I'm not really focused on Bellurelle because now I'm in a relationship. This relationship is taking a lot of my attention. We're going on trips every other month, and I'm still working on Bellurelle, but I'm not giving it my all. At a certain point, I stopped caring. I was already broken, and so going into this relationship just broke me down even more, to the point that I stopped caring about Bellurelle. I was getting one sale a week. Something is telling me to keep doing it. but I don't want to do it. I deleted the Shopify app off my phone because I just felt like there's no point. I don't even want to do this anymore. I have so many videos of myself just crying, saying like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I got so tired of it. I didn't realize that God gifted me this brand and that I was supposed to steward it. My mind was so focused on this relationship that I was willing to just give it all up. This relationship showed me that I felt so worthless about myself. So fast forward 6 months in the relationship, this person cheats on me. And then I leave for like a week. But then it takes 1 week of begging and then I'm back. So, and that was basically the pattern. He would just keep on doing that over and over again. And I was already so broken down. I didn't feel like anybody else would want me, because he would tell me, who else is going to want you? And so I would be like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, who is going to want me? Because I was already so broken and I didn't have a relationship with God. So my worth came from other people. My worth came from what other people said about me. Mind you, this whole time I'm still working on Bellurelle. I'm trying my best to give Bellurelle my all at this point, especially during the time when I'm single. It was a year fully of healing. It was a year of trying to heal. It was a year of trying to get closer to God. I was living alone for the first time, but as we know, the enemy will use any kind of opportunity that he can. I was hanging around people that were doing the same things that I was doing in Toronto. I was still going to the lounges. I was still going to the club and church, but I was still living in the world. Going to church on Sunday, but I was still living in the world. It was a lot of confusion. The enemy will use any opportunity that he can. So of course, the ex came back. He was persistent and we ended up getting back together. I felt so foolish after that because I had to get over a breakup for a second time. And I was just like, why would I go back to something that God delivered me from? The verbal abuse was 10 times worse, to the point that I started stabbing myself with a fork. I started self-harming. It's something that I never even thought I would do, but it genuinely felt good. It felt better than actually going through the pain that I was going through. And I didn't want to cut. Because, that's scary. Well, to me. So I just took a fork and I just started going like this on my leg. I get bruises the next day. The thing is, when you think of yourself so low, and then you have other people confirming it, you just start to hate yourself even more. And that's what was happening to me. I genuinely hated myself. Like, I was like, I'm worthless. I was genuinely saying, like, I'm worthless. And I kept on hitting myself. And it genuinely felt better than what the people were saying. It's December 2023. Mind you, at this moment, I'm building my relationship with God. I'm a lot more in my word. I'm praying for real. And this one day, I'm laying down in my bed and I pray to God and I say, God, if this is my husband, make him say the word hope in the next 24 hours. I know you might say that's such a typical word, but mind you, I've never heard the man say hope. Okay. So anyways, the next morning he prays and he says the word. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's my husband. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my gosh. But it's now that I realize that, when you open the door for the enemy, he's hearing your prayers too. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're outside of God's will, there will never be peace. It might be peace for the moment, but it will not be long-lasting peace. It won't be genuine joy. It will be joy that will stem from whatever the person is doing, whatever kindness that they show temporarily. It will not be a joy that comes from the Lord. There was multiple confirmations, but they were never from God. And that's because the enemy was having a playing field with my life. He loved that I was outside of God's will because he knew he could do whatever he wanted. During this moment, Bellurelle was starting to do well. But you guys, I've been doing this for 5 years in April. The reason I'm not where I'm supposed to be is because I was outside of God's will for so long, and I delayed everything that he wanted me to have because I was outside of his will. So January 2024, I got saved, and Bellurelle blew up again on TikTok this time. And that's when I knew that this is not my brand. This is not my business. God gave it to me. He's trusting me with it. But he can also take it away. He took it away when I was outside of his will, when I was in the wrong relationship, when I was surrounding myself with the wrong friends, when I was surrounding myself with the wrong people. He took it away. He made it less visible. I wasn't getting that many sales. I was still juggling my 9 to 5. I am sitting here right now on the 27th of January, 2025, fully employed with Bellurelle. And that's something that I never thought I would say. It's not just about a man. It was also other things that I was doing. I was friends with the wrong people. I would surround myself with people that would gossip, that would drink, that would party, that would go out every weekend. I just want to talk about the goodness of God in this past 1 year alone. And trust me, there's a lot of details that I'm leaving out, only because truly I've forgiven all these people that were in my life. I've already forgiven. I've already let go. I'm just so grateful, and I'd be just stupid to backslide at this point. The word says bad company corrupts good morals, and that's literally what my life was for the past 4 years until I fully gave my life to God. Within 1 year, I went through a rebrand. I hired 2 employees. Bellurelle has reached 6 figures. I can't even think of everything at the top of my head, but just know the main reason why this happened is because I got rid of the idols. Idolatry is anything that we love more than our obedience to God. I idolized my relationship. I saw him as the reason for my joy. And we do that. We put people on a pedestal. We idolize people. We worship people. We think that worship is just praying to them. No, worship is loving them more than our obedience to God. The word is very clear about obedience. God hates idolatry. If we go through Deuteronomy, we see the blessings this long and the curses this long. I didn't have a script for this. I didn't have points. I didn't have any talking points. All the things that I talked about today is really just everything that the Holy Spirit has been just telling me to say. This needs to be said. Whatever you are idolizing, whatever you love more than your obedience to God right now, yo, put it down. Put it down, because he has so much more for you. But yeah, you guys, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. If there's anything that you can grasp from this, I would say it's the 5 themes, the 5 recurring themes that I've gotten from the Bible so far. Love God, love your neighbors, trust God, obey, and don't worship other idols. I think that that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I never said that before, but I love you guys, I guess. And that's all. Love, Carisha. Oh yeah, wait. Remember that God, let God be God.